I'm gonna try and make this video as short as possible for you guys, cut all the BS, get straight to the point, but there's one thing I need to mention first. This is not my car. This car is for a friend who I work with. She took her car to the Mitsubishi dealership. They told her she has an internal short in her head unit, which is causing her speakers to do all sorts of weird things, and it's causing a parasitic draw on her car, which is killing her battery over time, and it's a huge headache. They quoted her like $3,000 to fix it. So today, we're gonna help her out and install one of my favorite head units to replace her factory head unit that has given her issues. So let's get straight into this. I am gonna show you guys how to install a head unit for your 2007 to 2012, I believe it is, Mitsubishi Lancer. Now this goes for a whole bunch of models. It's for the Evo Rally Art. This one behind me is a wagon, and there is lots of other models, but they all got the same dash, which looks like this. So in today's video, we got my favorite head units in the world, the Idoing head units. When you buy this head unit off the Idoing website, which I will link in the description, it comes with the dash kit, the head unit itself, and all the wiring you need to just make this install completely plug and play. So we'll unbox the head unit as we are installing it into the car, and I'll show you what all the harnesses do. But first, let's show you guys how to remove the factory head unit. And this is seriously gonna be like a 5 to 10 minute process. It's not hard at all. Step one, we are gonna hop over to the glove box on the right side of the car. Once you pop open the glove box, we are literally just gonna squeeze both sides of the glove box like this, pull down, pop the shock absorber off the side, and then lift up, and the glove box is off. Now on the right side of the glove box, you're gonna have a Phillips screw right there. And that Phillips screw is gonna allow you to remove this entire trim piece right here. Once you get that removed, you should be able to grab this and pull and pop this trim piece off. Just like that, super easy. Now you have access to this other Phillips screw on the right side, which is gonna allow you to pull this whole trim piece off that runs along the entire dash to the head unit. Once you got that out, you're just gonna grab this and give it a good pull towards yourself, and it's just gonna pop off. And just keep working your way all the way to the center until you get the whole thing off, and you can toss her in the back seat for now. Now that we got that removed, we have access to our trim screws for the hazard button and the airbag indicators. There's 3 Phillips screws on this, so we're gonna go ahead and remove all 3 of those. Once those are removed, you can pop this piece out, and we are just gonna unplug the one single connector that is connected. Now we have access to this whole Rockford Fosgate stereo, and there's not really much to it. It's just body clipped in, so we're just gonna pop this entire thing out by pulling on it from the bottom first. That was a really big pop, and that was kind of scary. But don't be scared to give it some force. Once you got the bottom popped, you can grab the top, give her a couple yanks, and she should come out just like that. Now, instantly when you pull off this head unit, flip it around, look at the back, make sure you got all your pop clips on the back. There are a bunch of white clips, and if you don't, make sure you pull them out of the dash, because we're gonna be transferring those clips into the Idoing dash kit. So set this to the side for now. I got one clip up top right here that is stuck, so we're gonna have to get that out. But first, I wanna get this whole head unit assembly pulled out. This whole dash kit is essentially just a faceplate that makes metal contacts with the actual head unit piece. But we are gonna need some stuff out of here, like the vents and the clips and stuff like that, but we'll get to that in a sec. Now that we have this out, there is 4 Phillips mounting screws on the head unit as well, one in all 4 corners. So let's get those pulled off. Now that we got those all pulled out, we are going to lift this entire head unit assembly out, unplug the 3 connectors on the back. Well, there's basically 2, but this connector on the one side that's black, you just pull it straight out. That is your antenna wire. Then you got 2 connectors on the back, which you just got to push 2 little tabs, and they should both pop off. Now we got the factory head unit out, and that took maybe 2 minutes max to do all of this. Now we are going to install the Idoing Media head unit, and I freaking love these things. I put them in all my builds. If you guys watch the channel, you would know that. Idoing has been a huge supporter of the channel as well. So thank you to Idoing for supporting the channel and helping one of my friends not spend $3,000 at the Mitsubishi dealer. So we are going to get this head unit package opened up. First and foremost, they got all their QR codes and links for warranty. Lots of foam in the packaging for these things. Oh man, should have checked this before we did it. They even give you a freaking screwdriver for installing this head unit. And usually in the past when I've installed these, they actually come with the trim removal tools as well. But they also got the screws here for mounting the head unit. And would you look at that? First bag we open, they got trim tools right here, just like I said they would. So we got 2 free trim tools with this kit. Awesome. Now when it comes to harnesses, these come with so many harnesses. Here's the microphone wire. which we are going to use. Here is a harness for a SIM card. If you guys want to get a data plan on your head unit and put a SIM card in, you can do that. We're not going to use that in today's video. Then they got their USB harnesses, which we are going to be running these into the glove box. You have the GPS antenna, which we are not going to be using in this video because these head units have Apple CarPlay. I just use Google Maps or Apple Maps on all my stuff, and the Apple CarPlay on these head units is super responsive and I love it, so we're not going to be using this. Another third USB adapter, a 5G modem for if you run a SIM card so that this thing can get cellular service, which we're not going to be using. A microphone adapter, which we will be using. It's like there's two other little antenna pieces. I actually haven't seen these in any of the Idoing kits yet, so that's new to me. Not sure if we're going to be using those yet. Then we got the adapter harness for all of our pre-outs. If you guys are running any aftermarket sound systems and you want to run an aftermarket amplifier, you will need to use these pre-outs to run that amp. Next bag in the kit comes with our main harness and what looks like a signal converter or something like that. I'm assuming this is because these cars have a factory Rockford Fosgate amp. So this black connector here is going to plug into our Idoing head unit, and these two are going to plug into the factory connectors of the car. This is how easy this is. Take the connectors, plug it in, wait till you hear the click, make sure she's locked. Do that on both connectors. This harness is completely plug and play. Now that we got our plug and play harness installed in there, I'm going to set that to the side for now, and we can get to the good part, which is our Idoing head unit. These head units are like freaking flat screen TVs. They are so big. This is gonna look awesome in this car. But before we get to installing it, we gotta get this installed and get everything transferred over to our dash kit. So just setting it in there, you can see that this is absolutely perfect fitment, but it's not secure. So we gotta get all of our screws that came with the head unit installed in these 4 little back holes. I went ahead and got those installed off camera just because it's super easy. You guys will be able to figure that out. 4 screws on all 4 corners of the head unit. They screw in from the back, and now our head unit is mounted into the dash kit nice and secure. Next step is going to be transferring over the vents and all of the plastic clips, which I've already transferred one over here. The vents are super easy to transfer over. You just need to stick your pry bar on the little tabs there, lift up a bit on both of them, pop one side out, pop the other side out, and they should pop right off. Now that we got that piece popped off, we are going to remove the actual vent adjustment piece, which is going to be just as easy, and that is going to pull out of the back of the dash kit. And to get this off is the same thing. There's 2 little tabs on the bottom here that you need to lift. I grabbed a little flathead screwdriver just to make this easier, and she should pop right out just like that. Now we're going to take that right side piece, transfer it into the Idoing unit by literally setting it in here and pushing it down into place until you hear the snap and you know that all of the body clips are engaged. That took some firm pressing, but we got her in and all of the clips are engaged, and now we can slap in our other piece, which only goes in one way, and that one way is with these little vent arm pieces on the top. Just push down, click it in, and she's on there. You do the same thing with the vent on the other side. Then for your pop clips, they're super easy as well. I like to use a little flat screwdriver, and they can be difficult at times to get out, but you just gotta make sure that you're disengaging the tabs on the top and the bottom before you start to try and pull it out. So what I do is lift the top and then push the mini screwdriver through the hole that it clips into, and then it pops the bottom one out. Then to get them in the new head unit piece, you simply take the little tiny clip that came off the old one and just slide it onto here, and you just push, it locks into place, and you're good to go. And there is 7 tabs total on the back of this head unit. I went ahead and finished that up off camera, but we got all of our clips completely transferred off this factory head unit trim piece. We have both vents pulled off. That's what it looks like with no vents on it. And now our Idoing head unit is completely mounted up in the Idoing dash kit. Vents are completely installed. All 4 screws are installed. All of our clips are transferred over. Now we are ready to get this thing installed into the car. So the next step that we got to do is run our microphone wire, which is honestly going to be the hardest part of this entire install, just because you got to run the wire up to wherever you want to mount it. You guys could do it easier, but preferably I like to mount the mic in the A-pillar, and I'll show you guys where that is. We got our mic completely installed now. Just pop the A-pillar off, run the mic wire all along down the side. You got to take off this weather strip, run it down underneath. There's one little panel you got to pull off by the brake pedal. Just 2 little body clips there. You need a Phillips screwdriver and a little body clip tool, which looks something like this. Pull that down. I ran the mic wire up from underneath. You guys can see down inside of there where the mic wire comes through. And I just zip tied it together to clean up the harness mess. And we got the plug right here. So now we got our mic wire, antenna, and our Idoing plug and play harness. Now we can get our head unit installed. But before we do, I am gonna go through and show you guys all of the connectors that we plugged into the head unit. There's two on the left side here. They are both USB outlets. So we are gonna have 3 sets of USB wires, and they are all labeled as to what they do. 2 of them are USB chargers, and the one single one is for Apple CarPlay. And that one says CarLink on it. So we're gonna run those out this right side into the glove box area. Then we got our next connector here, which is just the mic wire, which is going to plug into the mic wire that we just ran. And then the other connector I put on here, I'm actually not sure if you need to put it on here, but it has the pre-outs for if you're running a subwoofer or an aftermarket amp. This car has a factory subwoofer in the trunk, which runs off of the factory wiring. So we shouldn't need this, but I did notice on the factory harness that there is 2 RCA plugs that say front out right and front out left. So we are gonna plug in the corresponding connectors, these 2 guys right here. And then our Idoing plug and play harness is going to plug into right here. So let's get this head unit installed into the car 100%, and then we can go through some of the features and show you guys how this thing works. And don't go anywhere in this video yet, because I'm gonna show you guys a hack to all of the Idoing head units so you guys can adjust the settings, you can adjust the display, you can adjust everything on this head unit, because there is a specific password that you need to access all of the user features, and I'm gonna give that to you guys. But let's get it installed first. And now for the most satisfying part of installing these head units. That is so satisfying. Before you even go through your options, make sure that your vents move side to side, up and down, and that everything works. This one was stuck for me. I had to take it back out and adjust it so that the gears line up so I can move it side to side. But she is mint now. So let's turn the key and see what she looks like when she powers up. I already had it on, so the screen just came on, but usually you would have a Android logo, and then it will show the Mitsubishi logo because Idoing programs it from factory for the vehicle that they send you the head unit for. So first thing that you guys will notice with this head unit is how user-friendly of a display this actually is. We got our navigation, Bluetooth, music, radio, and apps. Now, what I was telling you before about changing the user display, this is the display that I selected because in my opinion, it's the most user-friendly. You can go to your apps, swipe through everything. It's super, super easy. You got your YouTube, Google Maps, video player, Play Store. You got your CarLink 2.0, which is gonna be your Apple CarPlay, Google Chrome, your equalizer for messing with all your sound settings. And on the main screen, you got your radio. We'll make sure that works. Oh my God. Clearly that works. And I was already playing around with some of the sound settings on this radio, and this stereo freaking pumps in this car. This Rockford Fosgate speakers are unreal. And I went to the back, made sure the factory sub works, and everything works with this head unit. It is awesome. Another thing I checked is the headlight switch on the car actually does turn on and off the little side lights there on the head unit, which is awesome. The other thing I did was go ahead and program the steering wheel control. So when you press up, the volume goes up. When you press down, the volume goes back down. And I set the up and down switches to next song and previous song, and then the mode button just goes back to the home screen. So first thing we'll do to show you guys some of the features on this thing is we'll go through those settings real quick. If you go to apps, swipe over to settings, now you got your whole settings display. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to general, scroll down to steering wheel setting. We're gonna click that. And then what you do to set your steering wheel setting is you're gonna press whatever steering wheel button you want. So I'm gonna go volume up. And then as you press the volume up button, you can see that the screen is changing like that. You're gonna hold that button down, and then you're gonna select the option that you want that button to do. So in this case, I would select the volume up button. And you can see I already did that because the numbers are red. And you're gonna do that with whatever steering wheel control you wanna do. The next thing I wanna show you guys real quick, and this is my favorite feature on the head unit. You guys will be able to run through the Bluetooth music and radio functions and play around with that. That's super easy. My favorite function is if you go to apps, go to CarLink 2.0, it will connect so fast to your phone. It is insane. And this is Bluetooth Apple CarPlay. This is like 2 seconds. It hooks up. You got Apple CarPlay with Apple Maps. You can set up Google Maps. If you go to your home screen, you can see all your apps. These head units have everything. Now we'll hop on here. We'll play one song, make sure all the speakers work, turn the volume up, and we'll make sure our steering wheel controls work here. As we press them, the volume goes up, which is freaking wicked. And these speakers sound super good. So the Apple CarPlay is definitely my favorite feature on these head units. I will let you guys go around, play with all the settings on this, and you guys can figure some of that stuff out yourself. The thing that I will show you guys that you won't be able to figure out yourself is if you go to your settings, I'll show you how you can change the display on these head units. If you go to the factory button right here, you'll see there is a password you have to put in, which Idoing does not give you. So I'm going to give it to you right now. The password to get into the factory settings is 3368. Confirm. And as you can see, that gets you into the factory settings. Now this code only works for the older Idoing head units that did not have the Qualcomm processor in them, which I know that sounds like a whole bunch of big words that no one knows what they means. But basically, the Qualcomm processor is the new Idoing head units. All of the Idoing head units that have the big box on the back, which you guys would have seen at the beginning of the video when I was installing it, they have a pretty long box on the back of the head unit. Those do not have the Qualcomm processor. But if you do have the Qualcomm processor, the code for those head units is 8888. Now, there's so many options in here, like you can do a touch check. When you fire the thing up, you can set the logo for your login screen. So this one we are going to set to the Mitsubishi logo, wherever that is, because this is a Mitsubishi. So that we select that. When the head unit fires up, it will display the Mitsubishi logo. You can calibrate your touchscreen, yada, yada, yada. There's so many things in here. But the important one that I want to show you guys is a little thing here called Home Launcher Selection. Now, when you select this, it's going to ask you to put in another code. The other code that you have to put in is 7171. Hit confirm. Now it brings you into the Home Launcher Selection. And the Home Launcher Selection is a whole bunch of different themes. So if we go to U11 right here, it's going to reboot. And now you can see our entire head unit display is totally different. When you go to apps, it's a completely different look. So I'm going to go back to the settings, 3368. Log into this. We're going to go back to our home selection, 7171. Confirm. Now we're back into this. There is from U8. There are so many different options, and I'll let you guys play and run through them. But my favorite option is U19, which is this one right here. Super user friendly, and it's just the best one overall, in my opinion. So there you guys go. That is an Idoing head unit install on any newer gen of Mitsubishi Lancer, Evo, Rally Art, pretty much anything that has this style of dash. These head units are so sick. So that's it for this video, you guys. Hopefully this helped you guys out and you learned something. I know I definitely did, because I didn't used to have those codes. So now I'm gonna go and change the display in all the other Idoing head units that I have in my other cars. I will put a link down in the description to this Idoing head unit on their official website. Keep in mind when you order these head units that they're gonna come in 2 separate packages. You're gonna have one shipment show up for the head unit itself, and then you'll have one shipment show up for the dash kit. So don't panic when you get the head unit first and the dash kit isn't there yet. But that's it for this video. Peace out, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.